Hey everybody, my name is What You Need. You're watching my channel. If you're seeing it for the first time, enjoy the video. If you like it, you can hit subscribe. If you don't like it, don't hit subscribe, of course. And if you like it, because I usually do one of my videos, you can share, you can donate. You can donate via Western Union MoneyGram to my channel. You can ask me for details on donations. Or you can comment as you see fit. We talk boxing. We come from a boxing perspective as much as possible. So we talked about Tyson Fury, some of the negatives concerning him. Well, we're going to talk today about fighters who come from a family of fighters. Tyson Fury comes from a family of fighters, and he was bred to fight. There's one thing Tyson Fury knows how to do is fight. He can fight his ass off, but he also knows how to box. And you think of Canelo, comes from a family of fighters. You think of Floyd, comes from a family of fighters. You think of people who come from a family of fighters. And what you find is, if the whole family fights, it's in their blood. Some people say it's in their genes. I wouldn't go that far as to say that it's in their genes, even though it takes a certain type of personality to fight. Smash that like button if you like what you're seeing. But I would say that when you grow up in a culture where everybody's fighting, you either sink or swim. You're either going to be a fighter or you're not going to be a fighter. Okay? Now, there are lots of great fighters who did not come from a family of fighters. All right? But these guys came from a family of fighters. That means they were taught fighting. They saw fighting all around them. People professionally fighting, etc. Tyson Fury's father was a fighter. His father was a fighter. His father was a fighter. He comes from a line of fighters, gladiators, boxers. When you have that kind of legacy, when you have that kind of heritage, one of you in the family is going to become outstanding. And it's just something different when you've been taught fighting through watching people fight, through fighting yourself. You pick up skills that way. It's not just natural talent. And then when you apply yourself, it's even worse. Tyson Fury said something in an interview. And first of all, I think everybody can agree with this. Tyson Fury is a standout kind of guy. Like in boxing, he just stands out. Right? They say he has the complexion for the protection, and that might be so. But Tyson Fury is not acknowledged by a lot of people in the UK and England as English. He's a gypsy. He's a wanderer. He doesn't belong to any particular group. He belongs to a group of travelers called the Gypsies. They weren't always in England. And that's why Tyson Fury can travel to Germany and beat Vladimir Klitschko. He can travel to the United States of America and beat Deontay Wilder. You know, this guy's a traveler. Comes from a family line of entertainers and travelers. He's a gypsy. They call him the Gypsy King. His father was a Gypsy King, and his father was a Gypsy King, etc. So Tyson Fury is living up to what he is, which is an entertainer and a fighter. The problem Tyson Fury has, he deals with depression, is once he doesn't have a schedule, when he doesn't have something, a goal to search after, he gets very depressed. It's kind of ironic because he would think he would enjoy his family, civilian life, and just go about helping and inspiring people. I think if he does that, if he tries to continue along the lines of helping inspire people after knocking down his task, because it seems that he gets very depressed after he accomplishes his goal. The accomplishment of the goal is not the great thing for Tyson Fury. It's actually going towards a goal that's very exciting to him. And he called boxing a hobby. He really enjoys it. So you can see it. You can see that he actually is in absolute glee to entertain. And when he beat Deontay Wilder, he was very disappointed with his performance, saying he should have got him out of there earlier, which is amazing. And then he gives credit to Deontay Wilder for being so tough that he made it so far in the fight and didn't want to give up. And he gave Deontay Wilder a lot of credit. He also talked about assessing Deontay Wilder and his performance. Why that's interesting is because what a lot of you don't understand. Tyson Fury had to go for the KO in his mind because he knew he wasn't going to get a decision in the United States after the first fight. That's why he did not use the same strategy that he used before. But the interesting thing about this guy, in spite of his cheating, which I am still holding him accountable for, don't have to damn cheat, Tyson Fury. But the one thing that I admire about him, and matter of fact, I admire about all these boxers who come from family line of boxers. And there are a couple of them. You think of Gary Russell Jr. His father was a boxer, and then, of course, he and his brothers are now boxers. You think of Leo Santa Cruz. Brother was a boxer. His father trained them to be boxers. You think of Robert Garcia, who was a boxer, and his father trained him to be a boxer. His brother, Mikey Garcia, is a boxer. When you think of people who have family lines of boxers, Mikey Garcia is doing better than all of the Garcias, right? You think of the Vargases. You think of the Lopezes. You know, Adam Lopez, his father was a boxer. His brother was a boxer. You know, his cousin, Teofimo Lopez, is a boxer, and so on and so on. When you look at these family line of boxers, you see why they're outstanding. You know, you see why they stand out. And you guys can talk about probably a number of other guys who belong to family lines of boxers. Fernando Vargas right now, his son and his daughter and his other son, you know, his family again is forming a legacy of boxers, fighters. What would have happened if these guys weren't professional boxers? They'd probably be street fighters, you know. You know, may have gotten involved in things which were not good for them. But these are guys who love to fight. Devin Haney comes from, I think he's related to Floyd Mayweather, actually, through, I think, his mother. Devin Haney is another one who, again, he loved to fight. Now, he's just indirectly connected to the Mayweathers, but I think Devin Haney is also, and he does kind of look like a Mayweather. Devin Haney also is a fighter at heart. And his father decided to manage him and train him somewhat because Devin Haney loved to fight. He'd get in fights. He'd get in a lot of fights. Okay? For children who are very mischievous in school, very bad, I will tell you this. And I actually was a part of that program where I would get the most troublesome students into martial arts. At the time, I got into martial arts because of students who were causing trouble in school, and I got them invested in martial arts, which gives you discipline, just like boxing. Boxing is a martial art itself, and it also gives you discipline, gives you control, and as you progress, if you stay with it, you're not going to get into fights and trouble eventually. And that's going to take a while, but you know, because if you have, you know, if you know how to punch someone and you know how to really put the work on somebody, you know, as Lennox Lewis said, you're less likely to get into trouble, but just in case something happens or somebody tries to pop something off, it could end rather quickly. Because you know what you know, okay? It's a martial art. And you see, I don't know if you guys have watched YouTube videos of, you know, 200-pound guys being taken out by, you know, 130 pounders, 120 pounders. Just one blow, one counter punch, and they going to sleep. Okay. And that the reason is because when you have the knowledge of boxing, you can hit a guy real clean who doesn't know about boxing like that, you know. But back to what I was saying. So what happens is that you have these people who have been born into legacies, into families, and somebody in their family becomes outstanding, you know, because you can't help it. You have the Sphinxes with the Sphinx brothers. See how they all accomplish things, and then after that, I think it was Leon Spinks's son, if I'm not mistaken. He did better than Leon in that he became two-time, two-divisional world champion and undisputed welterweight world champion of the world. I'm talking about, it'll come to me, Corey Spinks, okay? And Corey Spinks is training the next generation, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And, you know, Hassan Rahman, you know, his two sons, you know, and some other younger people. Actually, he has more than two sons. He's got some more kids on the way, you know, DC, Baltimore. So, why I say this, a lot of people talk about boxing is dead, that, you know, some of the old craft is not being passed on. That's not true. Like I said before, you have genealogies of people who are going to be fighters. No matter what you do, you might try to dissuade your children or whatever, but your nieces or nephews or one of y'all, brothers or sisters, is going to get into boxing. All right? And when you have a long line of boxers, generational boxers, it doesn't just stop like that, okay? And the training's passed down from generation to generation. And then generations take some of the information that they've been trained in and deal with it. And other generations take other, you know, bits and pieces of information. And, okay, so I'm still balling here. Sometimes it looks better than other times. Anyway, so why I talk about this is because you notice that the standout boxers in boxing, the ones who really separate themselves from everybody else, they got that pedigree, as they call it. They have that genealogy behind them. And then they got that family line behind them. It's not just a bloodline. I think it's also that you are seeing the stuff from the day you were born, you're around it. And that really makes a big difference. Even when Tyson Fury began, I think he began boxing in serious around the age of 16, somewhere there about it. Somewhere in his either pre-teens or early teens. But he'd been seeing it all around him. He'd been involved in that stuff for a long time. So, you know, I wanted to say that because I thought that, you know, Tyson Fury was talking about that. His father talked about it a lot. And it's something worth mentioning. And if you have enough children involved in boxing, usually some of the children supersede you. You have George Foreman, his children, you know, his daughter, his sons. Maybe that generation didn't do so great, but they got other generations of Foremans who are boxing now, and you'll hear more about them. And the whole point behind it is, whether you're talking about Lomachenko from the Ukraine, his father teaches him, but his father was a boxer himself, maybe not well known, but he was a boxer. The point behind this is that you'll find that, generationally speaking, you know, fighters and fight fans and all these people, you know, you realize that the people who have that pedigree, or what we say, they have that generational line of boxers, tend to be able to deal with the sport even better. And their knowledge of the actual science of boxing is better than, say, the average person. All right? I just thought that was an interesting point worth mentioning. So, I don't know how sometimes people know which one of the family members, you know, would be, you know, great as a boxer, but I've seen it quite a lot. So I just thought I would mention that, considering Tyson Fury, and you could see he was born to box. He enjoys boxing. Now, I'm not saying that Anthony Joshua doesn't enjoy boxing. I'm not saying that Deontay Wilder doesn't enjoy boxing and doesn't fall in love with the sport, but I just think that Tyson Fury really has that pedigree, that separates him from every single heavyweight right now in the division. It's just what it is. And I feel like he's naturally doing it. He's not just trying to be technical. Hold on a second, people. Right. So, I find that when you're talking about Tyson Fury, another thing that I find interesting about Tyson Fury, people talk about his herky-jerky style, whatever. But you feel that he's more natural with the boxing. And say Lomachenko. Lomachenko don't feel organic. He feels busy, but he doesn't feel organic. He feels very technical, like a machine, but he doesn't feel organic, I don't find anything sweet or pretty about him. Now, Tyson Fury is not necessarily sweet or pretty either. He's kind of sloppy in what he does, or at least it appears that way. Again, looking at the glove now situation, maybe he's not sloppy. Maybe he is very precise in what he's doing, but just the way how the glove looked, it looked like he was sloppy, slapping with his punches and stuff. But the thing with Tyson Fury that I find very interesting, and we should look at his footage against Vladimir Klitschko to see if he did that with the glove as well. But the interesting thing about Tyson Fury that I find interesting is that he feels more organic. He feels more fluid. He feels more all-rounded. Lomachenko, we all know he's not really an inside fighter. He's more of a mid-range fighter, right? He needs a certain range to be effective. He doesn't really fight on the outside. Tyson Fury can do it all, and that's the thing that I like about him. I was listening to Tony Bello talk about AJ versus Tyson Fury. Obviously, he gives the edge to Tyson Fury in that fight. And they're thinking about AJ knocking out Tyson Fury and stuff like that. And I listened, and I just don't see it. I don't understand what they're talking about. Like, AJ will have an opportunity, probably, if Tyson Fury lapses, to connect with him and drop him. But if Tyson Fury's on his A game, I really don't see how AJ is going to do anything to Tyson Fury. If anything, Tyson Fury might get AJ out of there sooner than he did Deontay Wilder. To be honest with you, people hype up AJ, and let's just be fair. AJ doesn't have a lot of fights, so he's doing extraordinarily well, and he's using the science of boxing. He's a student of the craft of boxing. I believe he's getting help from various sources all worldwide. So he's doing a very good thing. He's doing very well, but I just don't see how anyone can think that AJ could beat Tyson Fury. It just doesn't come in my mind. I don't know. Maybe it's the marketing of AJ that makes people feel that way, but he's slower than Tyson Fury. He gets into position slower than Tyson Fury. He'll have to work on his speed, like times 100. He has all kinds of obstacles to overcome, from Tyson Fury's reach, to Tyson Fury's weight, to Tyson Fury's technical ability. He's not better than Tyson Fury technically. He's not faster than Tyson Fury. He's not stronger than Tyson Fury. He's not bigger than Tyson Fury. He's not taller than Tyson Fury. He doesn't do better inside work than Tyson Fury. He doesn't box on the outside better than Tyson Fury. I mean, what is this guy going to do? He's too slow for Tyson Fury. Like, this is the one time when speed and quickness really matters. By the time AJ gets into position to do something, Tyson Fury's hit him 3, 4, 5 times. I mean, he's really slow. Even when he was fighting against Andy Ruiz, who was shorter than him, had a shorter reach and everything, he wasn't moving excessively quick. Tyson Fury has better timing than AJ. I mean, what are we gonna do? I mean, why do people think that AJ, can beat Tyson Fury? What, we talking punches chance again, like Deontay Wilder? He's not quick like Deontay Wilder. He's gonna have to time Tyson Fury, and that's not gonna happen because Tyson Fury will take control of the fight from the get-go bell. So what's AJ gonna actually be doing to the Tyson Fury? What's he going to do to achieve whatever he wants to achieve against Tyson Fury? I don't understand. So I'm not quite sure what people are talking about with AJ versus Tyson Fury. I may have to see it because I just don't see what they're talking about. I really don't. And Tony Bell is giving AJ a chance to talk about AJ's getting better. And I mean, he's a good fighter. Technically he does things better than, say, Deontay Wilder. But to say that, Deontay Wilder has factors that AJ just doesn't have. And of course, styles make fights, but people are saying that AJ would beat Tyson Fury. I just don't see that one. I'm sorry, guys. I don't see that one. They're saying styles, Deontay Wilder would beat AJ, but AJ would beat Tyson Fury. I don't see that. I'm sorry, people. If Deontay Wilder can beat AJ, then Tyson Fury can beat AJ. Because you're saying that Deontay Wilder has attributes and skills that can exploit AJ's flaws, which is basically what you're saying. And if you're saying that, then you have to acknowledge that Tyson Fury has some of the similar attributes, because Tyson Fury is equally as quick as Deontay Wilder, better technically, and so he will be able to exploit also, and he adapts quite well, Tyson Fury, to what you're bringing to the table. So I just don't understand how people could say that AJ would beat Tyson Fury. If AJ would get beaten by Deontay Wilder, then AJ would get beaten by Tyson Fury. But this is just an assessment of the situation. I would love to still see the fight, obviously. So I know a lot of people want to see AJ versus Tyson Fury. That's not going to be next because AJ has Pulev and Tyson Fury has a rematch with Deontay Wilder. But after that rematch with Deontay Wilder and after the Pulev fight, if AJ wins against Pulev and if Tyson Fury wins against Deontay Wilder, yeah, that's the next fight to happen. Now it could happen this year, possibly, maybe. If Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury doesn't happen in the fall, So, we kind of knew that the heavyweight division, Tyson Fury was the guy of the division. No matter that he cheats or whatever, he's probably the guy of the division. And those other guys come like second and third. The battle for second and third would be between Deontay Wilder and AJ. And I still think Deontay Wilder beats AJ. Unless AJ can prove me wrong, I think he's still chinny. I think he still got hurt by Andy Ruiz in the second fight. And I don't see Wilder as a chinny dude. Obviously, he did get dropped by Tyson Fury by a beautiful 1-2. But he got back up and he was fighting away, right? Got dropped with a body punch, which is not a chinny punch. It's a body punch. But he was falling back anyway. The thing about it is, what's interesting is you see that AJ and Deontay Wilder situations are kind of equalized. They both got their ass whooped. Deontay Wilder by arguably the best heavyweight in the world. And AJ by a guy who's very good heavyweight, underestimated heavyweight, on last notice, came on scene. And he wasn't prepared for the fight that Andy Ruiz brought to him. Andy Ruiz whooped his ass, right? Of course, Wilder against Andy Ruiz would be a good fight, and Tyson Fury versus AJ would be a good fight as well. These are all great matchups for heavyweights. Championship Boxing Channel, what's up, brother? I hope Wilder puts Fury in a coffin for what he did. No respect to people who play dirty like that. That's highly unlikely that Wilder would kill Tyson Fury in the ring. It's very unlikely, my friend. I'm just being honest with you. If Wilder does win against Tyson Fury, it means he would have found a formula or strategy to basically outbox him. And that's a very hard thing to do against Tyson Fury. But they have to work on a proper game plan. Wilder would have to, he'd have to improve his defense. And he would have to land that right hand at some point in the fight. Shane Mosley's very good at doing that, getting fighters to land the punches that they need to land, setting up a fighter. He would have probably one chance against Tyson Fury to do that. He would set him up once, probably get him, set the trap and set him up once and run him into the shot. He might actually succeed at doing that once. Wilder needs to use a jab like he did against the Verne fight. He tried. He tried to do that against Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury took away his jab. Tyson Fury when they got into the clinches, would work that body like a mother. I mean, he go to work immediately. Again, in the breakdown of Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder on BT Sports, they showed what Tyson Fury was doing to Wilder. Why Wilder wasn't throwing that jab as much. He's getting countered. He got countered over. That's how he got dropped. He was throwing a jab. Tyson Fury caught him with a left hook, and then as Wilder was throwing the jab to try and keep Tyson Fury at bay, he came over the top with the right hand. That's how he dropped Wilder. So that's why Wilder wasn't really trying to throw the jab. It's boxing. But Wilder is going to have to work on pivoting a little bit more. He'll have to work on his pivot work. Check hooks. He's going to have to work on his left hook, which he underutilizes. He has to disguise his jab. He can't just be going in there trying to throw a jab. Because Breland and Hearns, that was their main defensive weapon, was the jab, and offensive weapon. And Deontay Wilder needs to use other tools. He has other tools that he's been experimenting with. He'll have to use other tools than just the jab. He'll have to use his feet. He'll have to use proper footwork. So that's another thing he'll have to utilize. He wasn't doing proper footwork to start with. Because he didn't expect Tyson Fury to come on him so quick, he was pushing off the front foot to go backwards, which is a no-no. You push off the back foot to go backwards. But he started pushing off the front foot because Tyson Fury kind of hurried him, and he just did not expect that approach. He just didn't expect it, so they're going to have a better game plan the next time. That's why Floyd Mayweather could come in handy in giving advice and tips that Mark Breland probably already told Deontay Wilder, so that Deontay Wilder would be a better boxer. Yeah, he had a good jab to the body early on, but he got countered up top. Every time he tried to slip in, Tyson Fury would hit him with a jab himself. And Tyson Fury, of course, has the superior reach. So it's kind of hard when a guy has that kind of reach. Wilder doesn't really know how to bob and weave. He kind of knows how to slip punches a little bit so he can get to the inside, change levels, slip, get to the inside, come back out. He doesn't do it perfectly, though, which is expected because he doesn't have that much amateur experience, so he doesn't know how to execute it perfectly, but he tries to do a la Floyd Mayweather, change levels, hit you with the jab to the body. All right, Andrew Ward stole that too. So he uses that little weapon. The problem with him is he changes levels, he jabs, and then he straightens back up. And then he stands there. You don't do that. You jab off the pivot. So you change levels and then you pivot out the way. You look at Floyd. Floyd doesn't go straight back after he jabs. He changes levels, jabs, and again, he doesn't commit. That means he slides his front foot forward, but his back foot stays anchored into place. But once he slides back into position, he pivots out the way. Or he may pivot off the front foot after jabbing so that he's out the way. So there's two ways you could go about doing it, but Wilder doesn't do that. He just kind of jabs, comes back into position, or sometimes steps in with the jab. You could slide in with the jab, and then he stands. He comes back into position where he was, and he just stands there, and you can't do that. Not against a master boxer like Tyson Fury. But, it's a learning experience for Wilder. He did a lot of things wrong in that fight because his game plan went out the window after Tyson Fury basically nullified his jab and took away his right hand. So Wilder didn't really have nothing. Then he tried to fight on the inside against Tyson Fury somewhere around the 5th, 6th round. He started putting up the fight. He was trying to figure out what the hell was going on. Tyson Fury had him confused. He didn't know what to do. He tried to do what he usually do, which is feint. Throw the jab, do as if he's throwing the jab up top. Tyson Fury just threw his jab and was countering his jab. So he was like slapping his jab down, and then he would counter over it. So Wilder realized, oh, this motherfucker can reach me. I can't reach him. That's easier said than done, championship boxing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Executing that is not as easy as it sounds. A lot of people think, okay, so let me explain it to you. All right, so it's easy to say you're going to jab to the body. But if you're going to jab to the body, do understand your head is open for a counter. Overhand right. You're talking about, not overhand right, sorry, a right cross. You're open for a right cross. You're open to get hit by the other person's jab, unless your body's out of alignment with the jab that the person would throw. And on top of that, you're vulnerable going backwards. So when you're returning to your original position, and the thing with Tyson Fury, you see, everything in boxing has to do with where your feet are placed. So if you don't have proper foot position, it really don't matter that you're changing levels. The guy's going to counter you. You have to have proper foot position, and you have to have the proper stance in boxing. You understand? These are fundamental things that you must have in boxing. If you misassess a situation, you're making yourself vulnerable to get knocked out. Okay, it's heavyweight boxing. You get knocked out. So Wilder, like I said before, he did almost everything correct. He changed slots, he changed levels, he slipped in, he got his jab in. But then instead of pivoting back out, what he would do is he would slide back out to the original position, a la Floyd Mayweather would do something like that. But then he stand there. You don't do that. You either pivot one way or the other, but you don't stand there watching for the other guy to do something. And that's where Tyson Fury would jab him back. Or he would jab him as he's jabbing and then double up the jab and jab him and catch him with the jab. You would see him, because what Wilder does is he tries to snap back out of the way of the jab because it's just so long. Tyson Fury got long ass arms. You're talking about a 6'9" guy. He's got 2 inches on you height-wise. And then he probably has a reach advantage that's like 4 inches more than you. So when you think you're out of the way of the shot, a la Keith Thurman versus Josecito Lopez, when you think you're out of the way of the shot, you're still getting hit with the shot. And it's a strong-ass shot. Tyson Fury's not hitting you with no soft jab. He's hitting you with a power jab from up top. He's not hitting you from low coming up, called an up jab. He's hitting with a fucking power jab from the crunk gym. So you're really getting hit hard. It's like if he, and then he's punching downwards. So it's like you're getting hit with a fucking right hand. You get my point? So it's not the same thing as like, just, it's not as easy as just change levels, try feint going low and then come up top. It's not as easy as that. You see, it's, okay. So let me explain to you a little something. If you're circling a guy, let's say the guy is walking you down. You're circling the guy. You don't just jab. You jab off of an angle which you can hit the guy with and he can't hit you back. And then you pivot out the way. So it's like you're not stepping in with the jab either. So you slide in with the jab. Let's say you feint low, go high. That has to be off of an angle. And you have an escape route. So you're going to pivot off the front foot or off the back foot. You're going to pivot out the way of that, most likely the front foot. And then you're going to be off to the side. You may even jab and dip off the jab. You may dip off the jab just in case there's a counter right or counter jab. You may dip off the jab, roll out, and then throw another jab to make sure that the guy doesn't come too close to you. These are all precautionary steps. This is called me defensively responsible. And just in case the guy's trying to pursue you, you may want to dip again. So you may have to double dip. All of these things you have to understand. It's not just feint the jab to the body, go up top to the head. It doesn't just, you might look like it's easy like that. It's not easy like that. So you have to think all the time. Not think, but you should have practiced this all in the gym. They did not practice. Wilder and Breland and company and Diaz and they did not practice for a Tyson Fury that was walking them down. We know this, right? They were not ready for a Tyson Fury that was going to bring the heat to them and fight them on the inside. So they had no answer for Tyson Fury when he was coming at them. Now that they've seen what is happening, they're going to form a game plan to deal with Tyson Fury if he comes on the inside and with all that weight. So they're going to, there's many different ways to deal with a guy who wants to clinch you up and use his weight on you. You can use his weight to hit against him, right? But they were not factoring in Tyson Fury going to get him, hunt them down and shit like that. They didn't factor that in. So they had no answer for him. But now in this third fight, they will have an answer. They will come up with something out of Deontay Wilder's skill set to deal with that. Okay? And again, Tyson Fury himself said that Deontay Wilder improved significantly in terms of how his jab was thrown, how his composure was, even his footwork. Even though we didn't get to see that a lot, there was a lot of little chess matches going on with Wilder and Fury. We didn't get to see it much because Fury kind of took away a lot of things that Wilder usually does in his game from him. So a lot of people say, well, Wilder didn't look like Wilder. Wilder didn't look like Wilder because Fury was making him not look like himself. And that's what Tyson Fury does. He took away Klitschko. Klitschko didn't look like Klitschko. Klitschko was hesitant to fight Fury. Remember that? Well, it's the same thing with Wilder. Wilder's hesitant to fight Fury as well because Fury takes away your game from you. Okay? That's what he does. And does it very, very well. All right? And I don't care what people say about AJ. AJ ain't going to be able to do nothing to Fury either. He's too long. He's too big. And then on top of that, he can collapse everything down and he can fight small. He can fight with you toe-to-toe. But only when he thinks it's advantageous to him. And Tyson Fury can box or he can bang, And even when he's banging, he's boxing. So it's very, very tough to beat a guy like Tyson Fury at this point in time. Is he beatable? Absolutely, he's beatable. But is it easy to beat him? No. Right? It's not easy to beat Tyson Fury. And I don't care whoever wants to say what in history. I don't even think Lennox Lewis would beat Tyson Fury. And Lennox Lewis was a hell of a fighter. Or maybe he would. I don't know. I can't say. Now I think about it. Lennox Lewis was a hell of a fighter. But if Lennox Lewis came in like the Lennox Lewis of Oliver McCall or Hasim Rahman, Tyson Fury would knock his ass out. Okay? How is Lennox Lewis going to deal with a guy who's quicker than him? I mean, Lennox Lewis was a cat, though. So I can't really say. I'd have to think about that. I can't definitively say that Tyson Fury would beat Lennox Lewis. I'd have to think about it. But Lennox Lewis was a hell of a fighter. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Okay? He fought everybody that he was supposed to fight. I don't think there's anyone he did not fight. Who did Lennox Lewis not fight? I don't know. Lennox Lewis was a hell of a fighter. So I can't really say that Tyson Fury would beat Lennox Lewis. And Lennox Lewis would have a tremendous reach and height at a disadvantage. Tyson Fury would have like 5 inches on him, almost half a foot in terms of height. And in terms of reach, we're talking about ridiculous stuff, like, just ridiculous reach advantage over him. So that in and of itself, he'd have to try and overcome. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, Lennox Lewis was a hell of a fighter, though. So I'd have to think about it first before I have to think about the strategy, the game plan, what we would do. Tyson Fury has been dropped a number of times. That means guys with shorter than him have gotten to him. Cunningham and Wilder. So it's possible to drop his ass. Especially when he thinks he's dominating. You could set him up to get him out of there. You fall asleep on Wilder, he'll drop your ass. Mightn't get you out of there, but he'll drop you. And a lot of boxers, they be dominating Wilder, not understanding Wilder's setting a trap for them. So that when they fall asleep, boom! He gets you. He's a tricky guy. But Tyson Fury kind of took away his game, so he couldn't really do much against him. And so it's possible that Lennox Lewis might knock down Tyson Fury. I don't know if he would knock him out. We have not seen Tyson Fury get knocked out. We just have not seen that. And he's been hit by hella shots. Like, Wilder cracked him with a perfect 1-2, and he still got up from that. Cunningham hit him directly flush with a right hand, dropped his ass, and he still got up from that. So, and knocked out Cunningham after that. So, Tyson Fury is a guy that his eye's been busted by, I forgot what the dude's name is. Busted his eye. Pretty good southpaw fighter. And after that, the dude never had another. I don't think he had another round. Tyson Fury beat his ass all the way up to 12th round. I think the guy had a good 12th round. It's not easy to beat Tyson Fury. It's just not. He's a hell of a chin. He's strong, he's big, he's long, and yet he can fight small. It's kind of hard to beat a guy like that. But Lennox Lewis, if it's anybody, it can probably be Lennox Lewis. Because Lennox Lewis really was a beast. He was really, he's a great fighter. And no matter what people say, he's a legendary fighter. He's a great fighter. But I don't know, man. Tyson Fury's so much bigger than him and knows how to use his size and height. I don't know. You know, I don't know how much of an advantage Lennox would have on Tyson. But that is expected. I mean, we have these freaks of nature now who are boxing and they're not slow at all. You know, back in the day, we had big guys, but they were slow, right? Fucking Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder just turned the script upside down. Like, Tyson Fury is very, very fast for a heavyweight. Probably quicker than any other heavyweight alive right now. You know, Deontay Wilder is very explosive as well, but I don't think he's as quick as Tyson Fury is. And that's just remarkable. I mean, a guy that big, moving that fast, I've never seen that before. And people talk about, you know, the guy that Muhammad Ali faced, but I don't think he was as technical as Tyson Fury was to start with. So, you know. But anyway, I thought that I would share that with you guys, the generational thing. The fact that these guys are bred to be fighters, bred to be warriors. I think it makes a big difference. Championship Boxing says, but they only had the confidence to bring the heat because they know they were going to cheat. I mean, you could say that for all of them 90s boxers. Almost every one of them cheated. They all used steroids. So what are you really saying? You know, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to say that it's right. It's not right at all to cheat. You know, and in fact, let me just make it abundantly clear that I do not agree with what Tyson Fury did with his glove. Okay? This goes without saying. I don't know why he did that to start with. He didn't need it. You know, would the Wilder fight have gone on longer without those gloves tampered with? Hell yes. I believe so. Because Wilder wouldn't have been cut as much. I don't think he would have been cut as much in his mouth, particularly. He got his mouth cut in the first knockdown. His ear and his mouth were cut about the same time. Championship Boxing Channel says Shannon Briggs in his prime was faster than both Wilder and Fury. Foot speed wise, hell no. Maybe hand speed, but foot speed wise, no. No way, Jose. Shannon Briggs is slow as fuck. Doesn't have the foot speed at all. Neither of Wilder nor Fury. Them guys is real athletes. You know, Shannon Briggs, we all know, was steroid up. And to this day, he's still steroid up. As Wilder would say, to this day. You gotta love Deontay Wilder, man. He's a showman himself. You know what I'm saying? KP from KC, 5, what up? Yeah, my dude, what's up? I just believe that a lot of people out here really don't understand and appreciate what the present heavyweights are. They're freaks of nature. Like, they're really, really tall. If you go and you see Deontay Wilder is taller than Kobe Bryant. All right? And Tyson Fury is LeBron James' height. Think about what I'm saying. They're tall. They're freakishly tall. They have freakishly long arms. And they move like they're fucking middleweights, man. That's ridiculous. You know? I could just see, you know, Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, the third fight, is going to be incredible because these two guys are just, they're phenoms. Wilder shouldn't put on all that weight, in my opinion. He should use Tyson Fury's weight against him. Make it more of a punching bag, but you got to get out of the way of his punches, which means you're going to have to use your footwork. You're going to have to use pivots more. Make it harder for Tyson Fury to find you and counterpunch his ass. If he wants to come find you, great. That plays into your game. You're a counterpuncher. That's what you do. You know, make him find you. Make yourself a little bit more elusive. You know, if he wants to, and set traps for him. If he wants to lay back and make you come to him, which would be harder for you. Now you got to try and seek to destroy, carefully. You would have to do what Tyson Fury did to you. And you can't be wild. You got to be more composed, more systematic, and try and get to him because he's got a longer reach than you. So, both of you guys. And then Wilder, he's an inside fighter, but he don't necessarily work his way to the inside very well. And then on the inside, Tyson Fury knows how to use his body very well. So if Wilder locks up, Tyson Fury did more of the inside work than Wilder did. Wilder has a nice little uppercut. He throws little hooks that are pretty good, but he doesn't really throw a lot of inside fight and stuff. He'll clinch up, hit you maybe with 2 uppercuts or 2 hooks on the inside. And Tyson Fury got good head movement. He changed headlocks on the inside, so you won't catch him to the head. You might catch him to the body, but you're not going to catch him to the head. And Wilder should focus more on the body if he's going to try and walk Tyson Fury down. The problem with Tyson Fury is Tyson Fury can pull a Sean Porter on Wilder and just turn the tides on him. So he can make Wilder chase him down for a minute in the ring. And he can just flip the script on Wilder and just, be punching his ass up in a corner. Like Sean Porter does. I'm not saying he has the skills to do that, but Tyson Fury can fight southpaw. He just on the drop of a dime, he would just switch to southpaw and be fighting your ass. So it's like there's a lot of tricky things about Tyson Fury. People just don't understand. He's very, very versatile. He has a lot of tools in the tool bag. Or we say he got a lot of skills. So it's kind of tricky to beat him. But they can come up with a good game plan. You don't have to be the most skilled guy to beat the other guy. You know what I'm saying? So they got to come up with a good game plan. Without Wilder giving us Fury 2 times and Ortiz 2 times, what would we have seen the last 2 years in the heavyweight boxing? We would have seen Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, I think, sooner. We would have seen possibly we would have seen some good fights because Anthony Joshua fought Joseph Parker when he was a champion, I think it was. He fought Vladimir Klitschko. Tyson Fury fought the prime not prime, but the dominant Vladimir Klitschko. The Vladimir Klitschko was coming off of wins, right? Joshua fought the guy that came off a loss, but we'd still get the Klitschko fight. Tyson Fury would have still stayed retired and probably killed himself by now. Let's see. We would have seen we'd have seen more of Anthony Joshua, and would have hyped up where Wilder would have had to face Joshua eventually. That would have been the big fight everybody was talking about, like Mayweather versus Pacquiao. But it wouldn't have happened where, Tyson Fury kind of brought... What Tyson Fury did was show that it's possible for these fights to happen, and you can't be talking about promotional companies and money and all this shit. Tyson Fury kind of broke that down because Wilder talked to Tyson Fury about, come out, get your ass in shape and I'll fight you. And he really kept his word. And Tyson Fury fought him twice, right? So Fury obviously makes the boxing game so much more interesting as well. But again, thanks to Wilder opened the door for Fury to make that possible. So again, Deontay Wilder must be credited for that, And even now, Wilder still wants to fight Fury a 3rd time, and he still believes in his heart he can beat Tyson Fury, which is a fair enough premise. But these 2 guys really, I think they make heavyweight division very exciting. Wilder and Fury. And no matter what, I think Fury is always indebted to Wilder for giving him that shot. And I think the 2 guys like each other personally, so it's a good thing. And they do good business with each other as well. And Wilder has kept his end of the bargain. So I think Tyson Fury is kind of indebted to Wilder. Wilder kind of gave him a second shot at and redemption for himself even. So I think Fury is always going to be, giving the praises to Wilder somewhat. But I think that AJ, because he got beaten by Andy Ruiz in America, I think some of the luster of AJ came off of him. And AJ always said that, at some point you're going to lose. Even Dillian White was pretty honest about it. He was like, I lost. Wilder lost, AJ lost. The only guy that hadn't lost so far is Tyson Fury. But he's saying this is the heavyweight division. And I was, it was kind of cool to see Dillian White kind of be so honest with us, because people think that Dillian White, would be spiteful towards Deontay Wilder because Deontay Wilder didn't give him a shot. And to some degree, he was laughing at Deontay Wilder, but he wasn't laughing at him per se. He was just saying, this guy talked about, the fiercest puncher in the division and stuff, and he just gets disassembled and destroyed by Tyson Fury, who everybody considers a pillow puncher. So, the irony of it makes him laugh a lot. But, when you think about it, Dillian White, he's just a contender as well, and he's trying to sharpen his skills, and he's just trying to pit himself against the best. And, I listened to him, and he had a certain degree of humility to him, which I thought was very, very interesting. Just hearing Dillian White say, I'm not the hardest puncher, I'm not the, but you're going to get an exciting fight when I get into the ring. And he's pretty much correct. Most of his fights have been exciting. And this is what it's all about in boxing. UFC captures that, the excitement. Maybe you don't win all your fights, but you always put on exciting fights. People want to see you the next time. And that's the important thing. Deontay Wilder put on very exciting fights. Has Deontay Wilder ever been in a boring boxing match? Come on now, people. Right? He lost. Okay, but it was exciting, right? Everybody's still talking about it, right? So, that's the point of boxing. Of course, it's winning as well, but I'm just saying, you're going to lose some sometimes. Sometimes you lose some. People say, well, Mayweather didn't lose no fight. Well, hey, he didn't lose no fight that he fought because he didn't fight forever. If he was to continue for some reason, like some of the other guys that did it in boxing, he would lose at some point. You can't be an old ass like right now. Floyd's what is he? 40. He's 43 right now. Motherfucker's 43. Okay, he knows himself. So he's not going to try and jump in there with a professional boxer and get his ass beat. He's smart enough to understand that. So he's going to try and fight a UFC fighter or something. And if he keeps on fighting long enough, a UFC fighter is going to beat his ass. Why? Because you just can't maintain that high level forever. You can't. Father Time's going to always beat you. All right? And the thing with Floyd is he's smart enough to understand that. Okay? And that's why he remains undefeated. Is Floyd unbeatable? No. Floyd's not unbeatable. But he gonna make it damn difficult for you to beat his ass. He'll make sure it's very, very difficult. Right? So that's the point. And a lot of us get into this aura of invincibility, that a fighter's invincible. There's no fighter in boxing or in any sport that's invincible. You know why they create that invincible aura? Again, a mythos. You know why they create that mythos? Because they prepare and train their ass off to make you believe nobody can beat them. Okay? That's why. They prepare like nobody's business. All right? And that's what Floyd did. Pernell Whitaker's another guy that everyone thought nobody could beat Pernell Whitaker, right? To this day, even though he lost, people still think nobody could really beat Pernell Whitaker. Sugar Ray Robinson's another guy that people, that's why they had a pound for pound list. He got beat a couple times, right? But still to this day, people say, hey, nobody could beat Sugar Ray Robinson, right? There's this mythos behind him. And again, mythos. Separate mythos from reality. There's nothing wrong with talking about mythos of a fighter, but you separate it from reality. See, this is why I'm trying to explain to people, but people just never get it. Like they think I'm talking down fighters. No, there's a mythos or aura around that fighter. People feel that Floyd, he's unbeatable. No, he's not unbeatable. Okay, that's a mythos behind him. Oh, he's unbeatable. But the reality is he can be beaten. But it takes quite a lot to beat him. Right? The aura of Sugar Ray Robinson, and then people make excuses for him. Oh, this man, greatest fighter of all time, best fighter of all time. The mythos behind him is this man could never be beat. He was just incredible, and all of that. But the thing about it is he worked his ass off harder than everybody else, right? He had power as well. And that creates this mythos. This is how legends are born. They're like superheroes, okay? And the story just keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger the further away you come from the reality of what really happened with these legends. You understand? Because of their accomplishments, etc. And that's what a lot of you guys just don't get, right? There's no fucking way in hell a guy 100 years ago is going to beat a guy, I'm talking about the top guys. A top guy from 100 years ago is going to be a top guy of the present time, given the present time rules. It's just not going to happen. Now, if you talk about the past guy rules and the guy from the present going to the past, but he has all of the science and the tools and all this stuff from the present, the top guy from the present going to the top guy from the past. Again, the top guy from the present is going to beat the guy from the past for several reasons. One, what are we following? Weight class rules of what? Right? Because weight classes have changed significantly. Okay? Because back in the day, they had same-day weigh-ins. Yes, guys used to still weigh in the same day and still come in heavier in the ring. But come on now. It's different when you have day before weigh-ins. It's just different. And the nutrition and just the athleticism and just the training and just the diet and just the way how fighters train today is so specific to the kind of rounds and the kind of rules of today that a guy of the past trying to come to today's world would find it very difficult to beat the top guys of today. It's just what it is. Because the top guys of today adapted perfectly to what the fighting is of today. Now, if you take the guys from today and go to the past, giving them the same nutrition of today, giving them the same, more or less the same rules, maybe they get the same day weigh and whatever. Some of them will struggle to make weight. Maybe they make it, maybe they don't. But at the end of the day, you take a guy of today and face a guy yesterday, where the guy today, first of all, is going to be bigger. He's going to be stronger. Okay? The guy yesterday is not going to be as big as the guys of today. Because the guys of today, they lose 30 pounds, fucking 40 pounds. Some of these motherfuckers. They're coming in ridiculous weights. They look bigger, physically bigger than the guys of yesterday. Okay? And then you take a Tyson Fury. A Tyson Fury going back and facing Jack Dempsey. Is that a fair fight? That's not a fucking fair fight. It's not fair. It's just not fair. Okay, Jack Dempsey was in the 1900s, the early 1900s, Jack Dempsey's career. And Jack Dempsey came up from being a light heavyweight. He's not even a fucking full fucking heavyweight. He became a heavyweight, okay? But my point being this. You know, Jack Dempsey's going to be quick and everything. But he's not going to be able to handle. If he couldn't handle, Jack Dempsey never won a fight against Gene Tunney. All right? Tyson Fury's Gene Tunney on steroids. Literally. Literally was on steroids. He was on Dondoron, whatever the fuck he was, when he's fighting Vladimir Klitschko. How the hell is Jack Dempsey going to beat Tyson Fury? How's he going to do it? You understand what I'm saying? So you bring Jack Dempsey up to this era, he gets crushed. You take him and you carry Tyson Fury back to his era, he gets crushed. It's just what it is. All right? So that's why I try to explain to people, you don't really appreciate and understand what you're seeing. And I'm trying to get people to appreciate things in real time. Right? In real time. Jack Dempsey was a hell of a thing for his time. He's an all-time great because of the mythos that he created of his time. And there's a lot you can learn from Jack Dempsey's style. It doesn't mean you abandon the style. There are people who go back into the archives and borrow all kinds of tools from the past. All right? So Mike Tyson was very successful because of Jack Dempsey's style. Right? Taught by the great trainer, you know. And my point being this, that there's a lot you can learn from the past. Please do not discount it. But you must be able to separate mythos from legend, a legend from reality. That's all I have been trying to explain to people. I want you people to appreciate the sport of boxing now. Don't keep on telling me about things in the past and how good boxing was and the golden era of boxing, all that bullshit, when you have a golden era right now. Appreciate the now as well as the past. Got it? This is all I have been saying. It's great to know your boxing history and the phenomenal things that guys did in the past. Nobody's discounting those things. But do understand there's some phenomenal things happening right now in the present with boxing. With the present greats that are in boxing. Stop groveling and complaining and trying to tear down people and then look into the past, which you never even lived in. You live in the fucking present. A lot of y'all you've never been in the early 1900s. You did not exist. You weren't even a fucking prayer, okay? It's great to read about it. It's great to even watch footage on it. It shows you that boxing has fundamentals, and that the fundamentals of boxing and even some of the variations of the fundamentals of boxing and the creativity of boxing started from way back. But please don't just be living in the fucking past that you never existed in and then talking down the present. Don't do that shit. Don't do it. You lived in an era with some of the greatest fighters ever. You had Manny Pacquiao in this fucking era. It's incredible what this little guy did. Yeah, there was other guys in the past that did it too. But guess what? Pacquiao did some things that some of those guys never did. And of course, those guys did some things that Pacquiao never did. Right? You can appreciate each era for what it was. Get it? You can appreciate eras for what they were. I heard somebody making an argument that there's no such thing as the best ever. That every fighter in their respective era could be considered the best of their era. To that I say, then why the fuck are boxers trying to be the best then? If there's no such thing as the best ever. Tyson Fury said in an interview in 2013, he thinks he's better than all boxers, past and present. And Lennox Lewis said categorically, that's the way to think as a boxer. You're not going out there to be one of the best. Fuck no. If you're going into boxing, you're going in there to be the fucking best. Why would you want to be one of the best? You're going out there to be the best. The best you can be, and also the best. That's the mindset. So why would I sacrifice everything I have of my life and my career to be one of the best? That's it? One of the best? So and TBE is not, the best ever is not the first time you hear guys like Marlon Starlin say he is the best ever. You heard Mike Tyson say he's the best ever. You're going to hear boxers say that. A lot of them say it. All right? And if they have a case for it, you got to give them it. When Lennox Lewis said, I'm the best ever, he got a case. Right? Lennox Lewis beat everybody that was put in front of him. Everybody. Every last person. He lost 2 stupid ass fights he should not have lost. But everybody he was put in front of, he beat. Did he not? He has only 2 losses on his record, and that's on him. Okay? He beat himself. Okay? This guy has a claim to being the best ever. Who can better that? That's the question. Can somebody better that? And that's what you have to ask yourself over and over again as you go through time. But obviously, there is going to be the best ever. Why? Because y'all all universally accept Sugar Ray Robinson as the best ever. So what's the problem? Y'all universally accept him as the best ever, but all of a sudden, oh, no, there's no such thing as the best ever. Right? So we can't do that. All right? There is such a thing as the best ever. Y'all don't like to talk about it, but I'm going to say it because y'all want to deny certain fighters that accolade. that they call themselves, and you try to cheat them up. Oh, is this commercialism? And shut the fuck up. Let's go to something else, because it leads me to another topic, and I will always diss you guys, because you know why? Because y'all are fucking fanboys. Y'all are not straight shooters. And Coach Shelton Harris said, what you need, don't give a flying fuck about things. It's not that I don't give a flying fuck about things. I'm not into appearances. I'm not into mythos. But I do understand and appreciate when a mythos comes forward. I understand where people are coming from, because of the feeling that they had, the impression. The word I'm looking for is the impact that the boxer had on them at the time. So I understand why people will feel a certain way. A lot of people feel that Mike Tyson nobody could beat Mike Tyson in his prime. A lot of people feel that way because of the image that Mike Tyson gave, the ferocity, the clinic way in which he took out fighters. Right? Again, I get it. I get the aura that was around Mike Tyson. I get why people believe that. And of course, Customato being training him, the great Customato that dealt with Floyd Patterson, and so on and so on. I get it. But once again, mythos, you must understand. It is entertainment, so you will have mythos. You will have an aura. You remember, a boxer is only as good as his last fight. If you have a spectacular win, Teofimo Lopez went from he not ready for Lomachenko in his fight before to knocking out Richard Comey, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, this guy, he can beat Lomachenko, right? Tyson Fury went from, oh man, Deontay Wilder definitely can mess him up, right? In his fight before he faced Deontay Wilder, to realizing, oh, nobody can beat Tyson Fury, right? So I'm just saying that the impact a boxer has on your mind influences how you feel about them. And that is part of the mythos. We then later on realized Tyson Fury was cheating, and he was doing certain things he should not have been doing, and that had an impact on the fight. But the point is that no matter how you look at it, you have to separate mythos from reality. And even I get caught with that sometimes. And I have to take a step back and then look at it and say, okay, so this is what really happened. And this is what I thought happened. Right? It's boxing. The more you break down fights, I always try to explain to people, the more you break down fights is the more you are able to see and separate, the hype from the reality of the situation. So the more you can understand what the boxers were doing inside of the ring, what they were doing to one another, is the less likely you are to be carried away by the aura of what happened. Some people say, Tyson Fury destroyed Deontay Wilder. He destroyed him. Did he? I don't think so. And so people are talking about, what fight was it? Joe Kazaki versus the American guy who was the IBF world champion. I forgot his name. You guys know what I'm talking about. And how he was never the same after that. This is not the same situation. And you will see for yourself that it's not the same situation. Championship Boxing Channel says we can say that Fury is better boxer, but in the first fight, Wilder actually won. The referee clearly started counting late and still got to the 10 count. First of all, you can't... Championship Boxing Channel. First of all, you don't... The referee is the one that dictates the count. It's not in terms of seconds. That's the first point. So if Tyson Fury got up before the count of 10, guess what? He was not knocked down. No matter what you say. People make the argument about Buster Douglas. He should have lost the fight against Mike Tyson. That's hopeful thinking. The second point is, we actually did a 10 count on Tyson Fury falling down. He beat the count. 9 seconds he was up. So you just can't. There's nothing there. You're making an excuse. All right? Somebody actually, literally, when he hit the cameras, they started to count, okay? So not only did the referee count correctly, Tyson Fury got up correctly. And the referee did what he always did, which is he made him walk sideways, came back to him, and then Tyson Fury survived a little bit. He was in survival mode for about 20 seconds. And then he brought the fight to Wilder and beat his ass up. And this is what he used for this fight to beat up Wilder. Okay? Because he realized once I bring the fight to Wilder, he don't got no answer. And Wilder, in his head, is saying, I knocked this guy down twice. I'm going to get him out of there this time. And Tyson Fury just continued round 12. That's the truth. Cheat or no cheat. KP from Casey says, I'm saying that Wilder risked it all by going the tough route. Fury is the best boxer at heavyweight by far. Hell yeah. I agree with you 100%. Wilder took on a really good one. That's why I was looking forward to Wilder versus Fury, the first fight and second fight. Championship Boxing says, I still think Jarrell Miller beats Tyson Fury. I think Miller finds a way to get on the inside and keep it that way. But Tyson Fury can fight on the inside. That's what you're also forgetting. But I would love to see that fight. Hell yes. Because, again, Jarrell Miller is an inside fighter. The only thing is, can he get to the inside? He's going to take a lot of punishment to get there, or what's going to happen? Another guy, Andy Ruiz, is another interesting fight I would like to see Tyson Fury in there with. Fury, Wilder, still the two best boxers out there. I personally think so, but a lot of people who are Anthony Joshua fans would disagree with us. So I get it. I understand. Anthony Joshua is a scientist, and they apply a scientific approach to things. I don't know if he would be able to withstand, the nonstop onslaught of a Wilder or Fury, seeing they're quicker than him. He'd have to work on speed, and even then, I don't think he'd be quicker than Wilder or Fury. I think he has a better chance of winning Wilder, strange as it sounds, than Fury. But, it is what it is. Championship Boxing Channel says, if the commission does their job, it will be marked a no contest. What do you mean, this particular fight? They have to do their job, so it's kind of too late for that. It's too late for that right now, and it's just too late for that. And then they have to look at the impact of the gloves affecting the fight, right? So it's just too late for that. So they're not even, right now, Wilder camp is not even talking about that. They're focused on something else. Shout out to Mascolo22, Championship Boxing Channel. KP from KC. You guys decided to take time off from your busy schedule to dialogue with me on this issue, and that's good. We're in an hour, 12 minutes and 43 seconds. So I just wanted to go into that in detail because I like to let people know where I'm coming from. It's not that I bad talk to people of the past. I think they ain't worth shit and nothing like that because they're the foundation of boxing. You can't do that. But what I do is I try to separate the mythos of them from the reality of them. I've done it for every single fighter. I've done it for Mayweather. I've done it for Canelo Alvarez. I've done it for Manny Pacquiao. I've done it, and these are the present guys. I've done it for Shane Mosley. I've done it for Oscar De La Hoya, who surprisingly has done very, very well in his career. Has really faced the best, mostly. He left out Winky Wright and then Vernon Forrest, but I don't know if he would have ever faced Vernon Forrest, but Vernon Forrest was another guy that you really wanted to pay attention to. He never faced Corey Spinks either, which is interesting. So there are a couple guys out there that he never really faced. But hey, look, the point is, at the end of the day, he faced most of the guys, right? You can always find somebody he didn't face. And I'm just saying, you look at the present guys, you criticize them, but you criticize them fairly. You look at the past guys, you criticize them fairly. Just to get the reality, to take the mythos off of them a little bit and just look at them for what they are. Again, if you are a fan of somebody, that doesn't mean you can't give them a fair shake. That is to say, be realistic about the reality of their situation. A lot of people feel you have to be not a fan, but what do they call them? I forgot what the name is right now. And they say you're supposed to be unbiased and stuff. Listen. The point is, no matter if you're a fan or not of boxers, You must be able to separate, your awe and fandom of them. I mean, okay, let me put it this way. You can be in awe of something, but if it's in awe of the technicality of something, or in terms of the skill, and not fall in love with just the fighter. So if you're in love with the game of boxing, and you see the game, that this fighter has a certain game in it, and you want to talk about that game, then it's worth the while as a fan. But if you ain't know what the fuck you watching, like a lot of you fanboys out there, and so you can't really engage in a proper argument with somebody else who's arguing with you because you don't know the fucking fundamentals of boxing, or you don't even understand what's going on in the ring. You're just throwing jabs, or you're just a Wandle fanboy, oh, that's just lies, a Wandle fanboy, that kind of shit. If you're just going to throw sloth at people and just be ignorant, then it's really annoying. But if you're somebody who's a fan of the fucking sport of boxing, that is to say, you understand the sweet, sometimes I'm going to use the word sweet science, but it doesn't have to be the sweet science. It could be just the way how that guy brawl or bang or whatever, but just the manner in which he does it. But you can describe it, right? You can describe what is happening. See, this is the important thing. That's why I talk about watching fights. What's the use talking about boxing if you're not going to watch it? You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, right? We just talked about Chocolatito. Chocolatito just had a fight, right? I can't say shit about Chocolatito in that fight, really. Why? Because I didn't watch it. If I didn't watch it with my two eyes, how can I say anything on it? If I just talk about what I read, what good is that? How valid is that? How honest is that? How organic is that? So that's why I told you guys, it's about watching fights. That's where you can personally form your own personal opinion and assessment on a fight. It's not on hearsay. Hearsay is not the best way. It's on watching the fucking fight. I've been saying this over and over for years now. How long have I been doing this YouTube channel? Right? And a lot of you guys tell me, oh, it's not about watching fights. You think that's the only way? So you can't read about a person? I'm like, no, man, ninja. Do you go and read boxing? Or do you go and fucking watch boxing? And a lot of people, 68, Sports TV, and all these other guys, try to come down on me on this when they know in their fucking heart that I'm saying is the truth, because I'm not the first person to say that. Otherwise, why the fuck are y'all watching fights? Why are you watching fights? Just listen to it on the radio or read about it the next day. You don't need to go watch it. Right? You can just listen to this guy beat this guy. Right? And then, you can just go with that. You don't have to watch no damn fight. Right? You don't have to be convinced in your mind that this guy won or this guy didn't win or whatever. Right? So, this is common sense, I thought. But apparently it's not common sense. And people who want to be assholes and want to debate and argue these things, want to debate and argue this. Which to me is just stupid. There's certain things that I think is just stupid. All right? Why are you debating and arguing whether Tyson Fury cheated? He cheated. This is not debatable. You saw the gloves. You saw where his fist was. Now you want to say, no, that's not his fist, that's his palm. I'm like, who in the fucking world has a palm with fingers? Right? Whoever has creases like that in their palm? Come on, man. Like, are you serious? And these are the kind of things that, where people just warp reality for their argument's sake. I'm tired of that bullshit. I'm a straight shooter, okay? If you're gonna lie and build your premise on a lie, I don't have time for you, right? Because you're a fight fan and you wanna defend a fighter. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for people out here who, because they want to make a case, they can figure out their own reality. Right? Like I said before, you must separate reality from mythos. If you can't do that, we can't have an argument. Oh, Thomas Hearns would have knocked out Floyd Mayweather. Nobody's ever knocked out Floyd Mayweather. Okay, nobody's ever knocked him out. Nobody's ever dropped him. So he's going to get, and he's a defensive genius. So all of a sudden, who has Thomas Hearns ever knocked out that's a defensive genius? He didn't knock out Wilfredo Benitez. Sugar Ray Leonard did it, but he didn't do it. So why is it all of a sudden he going to knock out Floyd Mayweather? Like, these are just common sense things to think about. Right? Maybe you could say, well, it's reach. Floyd is the defensive G, so you could keep him on the outside. You'll keep Floyd on the outside with his jab. Okay, that might outbox him somehow. Because somehow Hearns is a better boxer than Floyd. All of a sudden that happened. Right? I'm just saying. I'm trying to make you guys understand that. And you may be right. He might have outboxed him. He wasn't knocking his ass out. That wasn't happening, right? And we all know this. Everybody knows this. But people like to argue these stupid points because Emmanuel Stewart said, "Oh, Hearns would knock him out." Emmanuel Stewart is from the Crunk Gym. He gonna say that all his fighters gonna knock out people. Guess what? Now all his fighters knocked out people. Okay, this is just what it is with Emmanuel Stewart. Okay, a good guy, nice guy, but that's what he will say. And he's Hearns' trainer. He's going to say that, right? My point being, a lot of people accept certain things, but they never examine them. They never think about them. They never really put much thought into anything. They just go with what most people prefer to agree with the masses than form their own damn opinion in their own mind. And then from there, conduct themselves. Most people are followers. Hence, we call them sheep. They like to go with what everybody else is saying. And we see guys on YouTube do that so they can get views. Hold on a second. Hello? Yeah, I just had to tend to some business right there. If the commission does their job, they'll be marking no contest. W Story says Wilder got his lips bust and head punched in, and it will happen again. I mean, if it does happen again, it happens again. But we're gonna see a third fight, right? That's the important thing. I mean, I hear you, brother. I mean, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Remember, he was not ready for that kind of Tyson Fury. So they're gonna prepare for Tyson Fury that brings the heat or boxes off the back foot. They have to be prepared for everything. And we'll see how that fight turns out. I think it's going to be a much more interesting third fight. I think of Roy Jones Jr. versus Antonio Tarver and what happened in their trilogy. And I think this is kind of similar. You know. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I think the third fight is going to be more exciting, and I think it's going to be a closer fight. Seeing that Wilder has seen what Tyson Fury is capable of doing, he's going to prepare for that. And, of course, everybody thought Tyson Fury couldn't punch. Wilder even said that. And got a rude awakening. So he's going to be wary of Tyson Fury like that. So anyway, peoples, that's all I got for now. It's an hour, 23 minutes and 7 seconds. I got to go out and work. So I will catch you guys later. It was nice talking with all of you guys. I'm going to catch you guys later. Speak to you guys in a bit. A little bit more about boxing. The ins and outs that I understand boxing to be. A lot of people wanted to trash this channel, but this channel is up and running as usual. And it's going to continue to be up and running. And we're going to continue to bring you boxing information. Right? A lot of people don't like and try to write off this channel because a lot of things they try to misconstrue what we say and so on. But, and they try to make us sound like we crazy or something. And you see how I'm looking. I look a little bit like unkempt and stuff. I'm just letting my hair naturally grow at this point. So they try to make it sound like, oh yeah, what you need don't know what he's saying. That's the way how they try to do it, to shut what you need up on his channel. And hopefully shrink the popularity of the channel. But the channel just keeps on getting popular. You know, we got, I mean, a lot of people quote What You Need's channel now because a lot of people are beginning to realize we're really bringing real boxing information. And we're not really interested in bullshitting people out there. You know, we really give you straight talk. And you know, I don't really personally try to put down other people in their channels and stuff. But when you are bullshitting, I'll call you out on your bullshit. And there's a lot of people bullshitting out here, trying to get popularity contests, trying to get people to follow them, and trying to ride off our channel. Okay, because some of the views we get on this channel are just ridiculous. I mean, what, I got 20,000 views for a particular video that I put out just recently there. 20,000 views. I came back, what, a month after, and 20,000 fucking views. And I was like, what? Didn't happen immediately. So it's kind of interesting that I don't understand how people work, but they apparently, you know, buy into, I think it's 500 something likes or something, stuff like that. And I'm just saying to you guys, or 1K like or something like that. But like I said before, it has nothing to do with me. Like, the sources that I give you guys come from people who actually are inside of boxing, that actually train fighters or the very fighters themselves. Not necessarily talking and forming an opinion from my own opinion. A lot of it's coming from people who actually know what they're talking about. And I just echo or voice it or package it in a way that you guys would be able to, like, I may apply something that boxers and fighters have said to a situation, for example. Like when I talk about Claressa Shields would go 3 rounds with Terrence Crawford, it comes off of boxers and trainers who talk about when a fighter is being very defensive, it's very hard to stop him. And so that's where that kind of ideology comes from, that maybe she doesn't beat Terrence Crawford, but definitely she can survive if she needs to survive him. And that's the kind of information I try to give people. You know, if you're a 2-time gold medalist, not a 1-time gold medalist, we're talking about somebody who's kind of like done things that Lomachenko has done, you know. And when you've done that kind of thing, and you're basically becoming world champion, you know, within 10 fights, you're already multiple ways, multiple world champion, multiple weight class, multiple world champion. It doesn't matter if you're fighting girls, it doesn't matter if you're fighting women, it doesn't matter that you're fighting guys. It's your exceptional skill. You're not just exceptional talent, but you have exceptional skills, and you can't overlook that. I remember when Claressa Shields was fighting the 154-pound champ. I forgot what her name was. And she fought her at 160. And Hannah Gabriels knocked her ass down. Okay? But after that, she didn't knock her down after that. And then Claressa did make some adjustments in that fight. Hannah Gabriels still was the better boxer in my opinion, but at the end of the day, Claressa Shields used her size, her weight advantage, and then her strength to overpower Hannah Gabriels in a much smarter way. And the whole point behind that is she knows what to do to make adjustments in a fight that can help her to get either an advantage or stay in the fight long enough to be able to get her bearings back, and then do whatever she has to do from there. So you can't be a 2-time world gold medalist or world champion just like that. It doesn't just happen like that. I don't think any other woman in boxing has had that kind of decoration. In the amateurs and in the pros, no woman in boxing has accomplished that stuff. You know, just recently there, Mayweather, and now it's like Claressa Shields, is the TBE of women, or the GOAT, as she calls herself. And definitely she is the GOAT. I mean, Amanda Nunes did some fantastic things. We have a young fighter right now. She's undefeated as well. Forgot what her name is. The lower weight classes, I think she's a featherweight or something. She's doing great. Serrano, I think it is. Serrano is her name. Amanda Serrano, I think. No. Amanda Serrano is the one making waves right now. Amanda Nunes is the UFC fighter, right? I forgot what the girl's name is. She begins with S. Woman's name, sorry. Anyway, I got to jet. Catch you guys later. I'm what you need. You're watching my channel. Hope you guys have a good one. Peace.